chicas y chicos. Today we'll be making a life-size Mario warp pipe. I used this for my baby's birthday. All the kids loved it. They played in it, put balloons in it. They still play with it now.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Alright, let's get started. First, you will need 2 project display boards. I got these from Dollar Tree. We will go ahead and cut on these vent lines on each board. You will end up having 2 big whiteboards and 4 thin, long whiteboards. Okay, now to paint. I use those 2 paints. There's probably a color out there that is perfect to paint alone, or maybe you want to paint it with a different brand. That's all up to you because I am no paint professional. You will be painting 3 of your 4 long thin boards and your 2 big whiteboards. And go ahead and paint the back sides of all of the boards you painted green and paint the other sides black. It'll look more like the warp pipe, which I didn't notice till last. Oh well. Alright, now you'll be doing this bend and curl thing to your 3 painted long thin boards, after they're dry of course. It's pretty easy. As you can see, you just put your hands on each side and bend the board with your fingers. Now for the bigger board. You will bend its longer side so when you stand it up, it will be on its side and make more of a big cylinder, if that makes sense. It was a little harder to bend, but using that one hand inside and one out and arm strength, it can be done. And you will do this to both the big boards. And that's how it will look when standing up. Now to put it all together. First, we will hot glue the 2 big boards together, short side to short side. It's probably better to glue them together on the black side so the glue won't show. And then glue 2 of the green painted long thin boards, just 2 for now, glued together short side to short side, just like this. Now we will get our 1 not painted long thin whiteboard and cut it in half. Cut each long piece into 6 to 7 squares and you will end up having 12 to 14 squares in total. Lay out, not glue, 6 to 7 squares evenly on the edge of your big green boards, like this, and stack the rest of the squares one square on another. Now glue them. This so the warp pipe won't just look up and down. It'll have some dimension to it, like a plant pot. Alright, here I measured the length of my hand from the edge of the board and from the end of the bent line to know where to glue the 2 green long thin boards. I measured with my hand from the bent line, and the other end of my hand would be where the long thin board's bent line would go. Now make sure to just glue this left side of squares, which should be 3 to 4 squares you're putting glue on. And carefully place your long, 2 thin green boards, the ones that are already glued together. It should look like this, one side glued and one side flappy. Now I set it up and bent it more into a curvy cylinder shape. The last green board will go right here.
What?
Now we're leaving a hole gap here so the kids or whoever can enter the warp pipe. Now we will lay the whole warp pipe board down and glue your last green long thin board on the back of the thin board that is glued on and sticking out. Make sure to line it up good. Okay, now we will mark where to glue, which depends on how big you want the opening. I left it around 15 inches or so open. You will mark it when you have the length desired, and start gluing the corner of the green board and line up where you marked. Now to glue the flaps down. Placing glue on the squares and pressing the flaps down, make sure to line up the flaps.
Here we go!
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.